So how do the biggest businesses out there make billions and trillions and be evaluated at such high amounts? I want to talk to you about what I'm calling a growth website. These are specific websites that are able to continuously grow, gain more customers, and increase their market valuation simply because of their 3 specific attributes that I'm about to share with you now. And if those of you who are new here, my name is Leif. Welcome to Wallace TV. And on this channel, I share advice, tools, and motivation to help you build stronger businesses and also the skills designers need to be able to build high-performing websites. And specifically, I want to talk to you about these random businesses I've found in the SaaS space that are really growing and have been valued at such high amounts. So let's break it down. HubSpot is valued at 34 billion. We have Loom, valued at 1.5 billion. Spotify, 66.09 billion. Adobe, whichever way you want to pronounce it, valued at 231.73 billion. Amazon, 1.696 trillion. Apple, 2.659 trillion. Grammarly, 13 billion. Figma, 12.5 billion. GoDaddy, 26.04 billion. Now, the reason why I highlighted these specific businesses is because I use all of them. Like, if I'm not using the product, then I'm using the website. Like, I use all of these tools. So these are the key specific things I want to share with you. It's like, I actually use these tools and I had to consider, okay, what are the reasons why I use them? Then I began to speak to many other people about these products to see, okay, what do you use? And then how much are those businesses valued at as well? And it's always in the billions of things that people are continuously using on a daily basis. So I want to break down to you the specific 3 attributes I see about what I am calling a growth website. And this is specifically the user experience and the application pieces that they do to help them grow as well. The first thing I notice about a growth website is that they really delve deep into the user experience. This is so important for us to be able to pay attention to. User experience. User experience is the number one thing all of these products have mastered. Mastered is a strong word, but they do it better than anyone else in their market. And this is the reason why I want to talk about this today. 3 specific aspects to the user experience that is so simple for you to understand today. And for me, when I began to look at this, number 1, these products are all easy to use. If it's HubSpot, Loom, Spotify, I use on a daily basis. These are products that are super easy to use, and the goal that I'm trying to achieve is quick to get to. The second thing, which leads me from what I just said, is speed. Because of the user experience, your ability to get to the goal is easy, and the speed at which you get the result that you desire is really fast as well. So they've mastered that aspect of speed, and they're continually making improvements on it as well. And the second or the third piece is the fact that these applications are all responsive. And I don't just mean responsive in a sense that it responds down to a mobile device, which is super valuable, but it's the fact that they're responsive to the touch when you're using the applications. They feel easy, they feel seamless, they feel quick to use, easy to use, and all of these 3 things really stand out to me from the user experience. One of the best products is Spotify that I use on a daily basis. And I began to look at it to say, okay, how does Spotify, so if we just type Spotify in here, in 2023, they began to rework their onboarding experience, and specifically because they were going harder into podcasting. And one of the key things they found was that when users go to the search button, is that if you go to search for podcasts on Apple, it's not so easy for you to be able to know what is the latest or newest podcast for you to find every time new episodes come up from your favorite podcast that you follow. So what Spotify did is they added a little blue icon to be able to highlight when new podcasts are shown. And also what Spotify did is they allowed you to be able to see what has been launched today, what's been launched yesterday, what's been launched last week. So you began to see a very good categorization around this, around your podcast, for example, that made it easy for people to use and very quickly for them to access new content from their favorite podcast personalities that they're following. So this is really important. When it comes on to user experience, the more you can invest into your user experience, or the more time you invest into user experience, the actual more money a business will make as a result. And we see that exemplified in the businesses I mentioned earlier: HubSpot, Loom, Spotify, Adobe. I mentioned Amazon, Apple, Grammarly, and Figma, to name a few. GoDaddy as well. All of these businesses focus and really delve deep on user experience. All right. The second thing that all of these businesses do to be able to have what we call a growth website, and when I say website, I don't just mean the actual website, I also mean the application, the digital app that they're powering, is they focus heavily on conversion optimization, right? Conversion optimization. And this is where they've really said, you know what, we actually want to get customers, and we want to get as many customers as we possibly can. We understand that this is all done for business reasons, which is clear. But there's 3 specific things in relation to conversion which they really focused on, which is something that we can pay attention to. In regards to conversion, they focused on the performance of the actual application. So from a performance standpoint, they've made sure that it's like I've said, there's speed and it's responsive, but they've made sure technically the performance of the application is really, really good. Google did a study and found that if people have to wait more than 3 seconds for a page to load, for example, they'll completely leave your website, and it does actually hurt the credibility of your brand. And I'll talk about that soon as well. So the performance of your site has to be like at the best it can be, simply because it helps from a conversion standpoint, and it also impacts the next point I'm going to raise as well. There was a company called Flow, and on the visual website optimizer's website, they had a case study of the checkout from a company called Flow. And Flow realized that they were having a decrease in sales through their checkout. And they realized that if they optimize their checkout for conversions, they actually increased their conversions by 125%. 125% increase in sales just by improving the performance of their checkout and optimizing their performance as well. And this is why the next thing I want to talk about is lead capture, right? Like, how are they actually capturing lead data? How are they actually bringing people into the funnel? This could also be done through things like paid plans, freemium plans, try before you buy plans, where people can try the product before they actually come in to the actual application as well. This is how they've been able to optimize and get customers in to try before they buy from some of these applications as well. A great example in here is something like Loom, where you don't have to have a paid account to use Loom. You can just use it, and then if you go beyond the space requirements or you have specific needs, you just have a paid account, and then they have different tiers from the back of that as well. So we can see that lead capture is so important. How are you going about capturing people that are coming to you to be able to use your products and service? This leads me from lead capture to my last point around conversion optimization, is what I'm calling lead quality. Lead quality, you can call it your lead score. So what do I mean is that for these companies to be getting into the billions and trillions, they've been able to really nail down who their ideal customer is and make sure that the quality of the people that they're going after, that they're signing up, is of the correct, or the, what should I say, ideal, the ICP, we call it, the ideal customer profile for their product and service. And they've been able to scale that and systemize that process inside of their business. So they've got a clear system to capture leads and a clear system to maintain the quality of leads that they're going after as well. This is super important to be able to have a growth website in your business. Now, the next point that I want to highlight, which is a big piece that a growth website really, really has mastered, is what we call brand credibility. Brand credibility. Now, this is so important, especially in my space, the tech space. If you don't have a strong brand, it's really hard to be able to consistently generate and get clients. So one of the key companies I want to highlight here is a company like HubSpot. But before I actually talk about HubSpot, I've begun to see this with one of my most recent clients. One of my most recent clients, they're a new challenger bank, a new challenger in the payment space. So their competitors are companies like SumUp, Stripe, and iZettle and PayPal. And they're coming in as a challenger, even though they can have lower fees, like lower transaction fees, they have increased security, they have crypto acceptance. We were able to help them generate clients inside of their business. But the hardest thing that we're dealing with is that there's low brand credibility. So although they can beat their competitors on some of the key things that we believe customers care about, it wasn't until we actually spoke to more customers that we realized that brand credibility or trust is low. So because trust is low, we have to get people to speak to the sales team. We have to do more to be able to build brand trust. Now, there's 3 specific ways I'm going to talk about, but one of the ways that you build brand trust is through content. Now, many of us know and we understand this. If you look at a website like HubSpot, HubSpot has really mastered the art of using content. And this is, text-based content, image-based content, photo-based content, video-based content. All of these different mediums or types of content is what you can use. So your text-based, your Medium articles, your blog posts, etc., written documents, PDFs, etc. Image-based content on your Instagrams and Pinterest and those platforms, and photos, for example. Then video-based content on your short form like Reels and Stories and TikToks, or long form like YouTube, for example. All of these different types of content help to build brand credibility. And the higher the quality and the higher the frequency is the more trust you can build in the marketplace, and the more you can provide value up front to be able to build what we call reciprocity, which simply means that you're providing so much upfront value to the market that before you even make an ask, they've received so much value from what you provided. This is something that's super valuable. The next thing, I've kind of said it here, but the next thing you really want to focus on is what we call branding, yeah? All right? And as a designer, this is something that kind of comes a bit more naturally to me. So when we say branding, your colors, right? Your typography, your font, right? That's what you can sometimes think about when we say branding. But I'm also talking about your tone of voice, right? Like who do you partner with, right? What do you stand for? Okay. What's your mission? Yeah. What's your company vision? Okay. Like all of those things come into brand standpoint. One of the key brands that I think do this really well is a brand like Patagonia, which their CEO recently took Patagonia from just being a brand that was, publicly just as a limited company, and moved it into becoming a trust, so that all of the profits that Patagonia gained would be pushed into sustainability products. Because the mission, or the kind of thing that Patagonia really wanted to highlight, is the power of sustainability. And the founder of the company really wanted to showcase that and leverage the product, or the profits, of the actual products that they sell, to show that we're big on sustainability. We're planting trees, we have sustainable, ethical practices to making our products, etc. So that really comes deeper than just the colors, the fonts, the typography, the logo, etc. It's the vision, it's the mission, it's the voice, it's the tone of voice, etc. All of that builds up into the branding piece as well. So that's another thing that we learn about these growth websites as well. My final point around brand credibility is where we have testimonials. Sorry, guys, I'm not the most, bit dyslexic. All right, so testimonials. So when it comes to testimonials, I don't just mean, they've got some written things that's said. I'm actually really talking the highest form of testimonial is this referral, right? Word of mouth, okay? Like that word of mouth from friends, family, associate, from people you trust, that is the super valuable thing, right? So a brand like Amazon, they've mastered the kind of word of mouth piece, which is this, you can't record it, you can't record word of mouth, but you can feel the impact of word of mouth when it comes onto how much you're valued. Because, sometimes you might talk about a product, you might talk about something you really like, and then it's like, oh, where can I buy that? And, even when you're talking with your friends and family, they'll say, oh, check Amazon. Like it becomes almost a natural reaction. It's simple, like the word, like, when you go on Google and you want to find something on Google and you don't know where to find it, and someone will say, oh, just Google it. So just Google it has now become its own descriptive word, even though Google is the name of a brand. So these are the kind of things where a lot of these growth websites, they've had the time to build up the brand credibility, and the actual name has become synonymous to the action that they want you to take. So really, when it comes into that testimonials, that referrals, that word of mouth, and then also, you know, we know the other types of testimonials, Trustpilot reviews, NPS scores is a really powerful one in our space from a design standpoint, UX design. NPS scores are really powerful. Google reviews can be good, but the challenge with Google reviews is that anyone can leave a Google review, right? But a Trustpilot review is really powerful because it's only for customers. And then NPS scores are sometimes even better because it's an evaluation based upon people's thoughts about using your product and service. Now, these are key things that I'm seeing around a growth website. And the relationship between user experience and conversion optimization helps to bring a flow of leads inside of the business, an increased flow of leads inside the business. So the more you invest in user experience and the better you become at improving conversion optimization, the more or the higher the increase of flow of leads that come into the business. The better you are at conversion optimization alongside brand credibility, you increase the ability to persuade, right? Persuade people to go over the line to actually become a customer. So this persuasion piece is something I don't really hear spoken of in my industry as much. I don't know why. There's a powerful book by Robert Cialdini. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. It's called Persuasion. And he really has like these 6 points that are so powerful about persuasion. I think I'll do another video on this because it's really good when he talks about that. But that whole ability to persuade really strengthens as you increase conversion optimization pieces and as you improve brand credibility, your ability to persuade people. And notice I didn't say convince, I said persuade. Because convincing is about, you know, convincing is like getting someone to do something that they don't really want to do. Whereas persuading is helping someone to make a decision based upon an action they actually want to take. So the persuasion piece is there. And the last thing is that when you increase brand credibility alongside user experience, this increases trust in the business, So these are the key things of a growth website that you want to do. You want to increase the flow of leads into the business so that you can persuade the right people because the quality is there to become customers. And as you build trust in the business, it increases the amount of referrals and word of mouth coming in simply because you've improved user experience and it increases your brand credibility along the way. This is a system which I go into businesses and I help them to think about these aspects, and we begin to assess their business alongside these 9 points to see where they could be going wrong or where they can make improvements. And one way that you can actually use this system in your business is you can start to have a traffic light system to be able to see how are you doing on ease of use. And you can speak to your customers. How are you doing based upon speed to goal? And you can have a traffic light system or you can have a scoring system. And I've got different metrics that we can use for each one, but a simple traffic light system is a great place to start. And it shows you where you can prioritize the energy of your team to be able to make improvements on your product as well. So I hope this makes sense. This is what we call the growth website system. So it's a simple system to help you increase and improve the lead quality and increase the actual valuation of your company as well. And if you look, if I just go back quickly to all of these brands that are in the billions and trillions, you can tell that all of these brands leverage this growth website system in their own way. But this is just my way of helping me understand, okay, how are these companies winning? And whenever I work with a business, how can I help the companies that I work with win going forward as well? So I hope this has been beneficial today. I'd love for you to tell me in the comments below, what's the number one thing that you're going to be working on your business? The number one thing that you're going to be working on, whether you're a designer or you're someone that runs a business, what's the number one thing that you're going to be working on based upon this in your business today? Thank you so much for watching. Look after yourself and look after your families. Take care and we'll speak soon. All right. Bye-bye.